So now you guys can probably hear me a little bit better. So again, after you've done your baseline move, what you're going to do is you're going to just get down on your stomach or your back, or you can sit nicely and just give yourself an opportunity to go into your diaphragmatic breath. Because remember, the 3 pillars of our mobility and our original strength is our breathing, our ability to connect into the vestibular, which is that balance patterning of our body, where our body finds balance, and then anything that crosses the line of the body, or even rocking, rolling, and crawling, are all part of this. So give yourself an opportunity to come into that diaphragmatic breath, palms towards the sky, and lay back. Or if you're on your stomach, and you can use your head like your hands like a pillow underneath your head, and also be in a child's pose position. Your knees can be bent or straight, most comfortable to you, because the idea is to bring yourself into a constant position so that you can. So a couple more breaths. We're going to go for about a full minute here, and a full minute of breathing doesn't make for a great video, but connecting into your breath makes for great movement. During September, we do what I call September Strong. And this week, our first September Strong challenge has been a breathing challenge. And it's to find 5 minutes a day where you just sit, stand, kneel, or lie and breathe for 5 minutes, giving yourself the opportunity to just settle into your breath. And then even just that, recheck your baseline. We have about 10 more seconds here. We're going to be up and down a couple of times on this one. And then, good. Go ahead and, when you're ready, roll to one side gently and bring yourself upright. And let's recheck the baseline again. So if your baseline was a standing balance, remember, if you're standing balance but you're hugging your legs in, you're using your other leg to control you. For squatting, try a squat, or even try that forward fold, much better. See if you can actually go a little bit deeper. Pause a second in there. So if you're doing a squat, it's really easy to like, oh, I'm out. Very nice balance, Bev. Very nice. Good. Now recheck that baseline that you did the forward fold and just see how that is. Good. Much better again. So you can see immediate typical changes when you just connect into your breath. So put that into a timeline of like life. So if over time you did more work on your breathing to rest and settle yourself before you did anything, think of how fast that is for your nervous system to change. We didn't spend an hour breathing. There was no stretching. We didn't do a single hamstring stretch or back stretch. You didn't spend 45 minutes doing balance training or anything like that. Your body just, I'm ready to hold this. I'm ready to let go. And so give yourself that opportunity to use that not only in the physical capacity, but an emotional, a spiritual capacity, however you want to link that in, and see what your body can do, because when your nervous system is connecting to your body as well. All right, so let's come back down, and we're going to do some eye and head movements. So again, you can lay back on your back. You can sit upright. I'm going to sit upright just for the fact of that it's just better for the video and that kind of thing. You can lay all the way to your back. Again, knees can be bent on this or legs can be straight. Please don't be in a position that's uncomfortable to you, because that just kind of puts you off balance in a sense, just like makes you not feel comfortable. So again, just sitting there or laying there, just 1 or 2 deep diaphragmatic breaths to get back into that. Keep your eyes open. And then if your head is back and you're on your stomach, your head is back and you're on your back, I just want you to look down towards your nose and then look up towards your eyebrows. So there's no real movement at first of your head. Look up and then look down. And for me, what I'm doing is I'm just kind of looking towards the ground and then looking up. So this is the baseline base you can do for vestibular reconnection. So I work with people that have had injuries, that have accidents, that have had illnesses, and we start back with this movement here. And if this movement's too challenging, then you even do less. You just barely look up and just barely look down, because your body will tell you when it's too much. Then slowly, either up or down, add a head movement to that. So look up and then let your head follow. If you're on your back, you're bringing your head up and you're looking towards your navel. And then if you're on your back, then you're dropping your head and you're looking back. So even lift your chin, get that length up the side of the neck. Remember, the muscles in the body connect into the nerves, connects into the lymphatic system, which also connects into all the veins of the body. So it isn't systems that work alone on their own. Nerves affect muscle, muscle affects nerve, nerves affect blood flow or lymphatic flow. And so if you're not moving one, you 100% aren't moving the other. If your nervous system's fried, you're probably having more issues with venous return to the heart. So you need to move the body as much as it's comfortable and then back down. And then up. And then back down. And up. And make sure you're breathing still, because this is where the breath tends to go off. We tend to breathe when we're just laying there. As soon as we add movement, we stop breathing. And now let's turn our eyes. Bring your head back to center. Look to your right and look to your left. And look to your right and look to your left. Always remembering that you're allowing your eyes to move first, and then we're going to add our head movement. And then look over and then turn your head. Look over and turn your head. Look over to your other side, turn. Look up and kind of back behind you, kind of turning, even though you're not necessarily picking up your head, but you can look over and move your eyes so they're not just looking side to side, but maybe up at an angle. Are you breathing, or did that stop again too? Good. Just move. Good. And then pause. I want you to go ahead and stand back up again when you're ready, and we're going to recheck that baseline again. Now, just like your love, sometimes it doesn't get that much better, and so you just always go back to like, well, it wasn't better than the first time, so then this whole thing doesn't work. Instead of just thinking, all right, well, that wasn't the thing that made my body move the best. So always go back to the thing that makes your body just kind of reconnect in. Good. Nice. And then sometimes you can realize, is it a strength thing that I have a hard time doing a squat? Is it something else? Nice squat. Good. 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 Go ahead and come back down. And now we're going to cross the midline of the body. So we're going to lay back. And of course, you can be on your stomach if you'd prefer. Arms are going to be like a Y. Legs are going to be out like the bottom of X. You're going to lift your head up, look towards your navel first, look over your right shoulder, and reach across the midline of your body. And then come back down. Pick your head up and reach across the other side of the body. Now, slow enough so you can maintain your breath. Chin towards your sternum, pick your head up, and then look across. And then roll back. Pick your chin up and across. And come back up. So you can see that we're not moving the entire body over, rolling. You're just trying to get across the midline of your body. I'm reaching down towards my opposite hip, because that way that right arm and left shoulder are kind of talking to each other. Make sure your eyes move first, then your head lifts and turns, and then your arm reaches. More time here. We're going to cross the midline of the body with the lower part of the body. Bring your right knee up into your chest and just roll that right knee across the midline of your body, trying to keep your right shoulder down. And then bring your left knee up and roll over. And bring your right knee up. And again, are you breathing, or did you stop breathing just to notice that your legs are going, didn't kind of connect into that breath? Now you can move this breathing kind of whole issue into anything you do, whether it's you run whether you do whatever exercises you do, you can test your ability to stay balanced and your cardiovascular strength, actually not holding your breath, but closing your mouth and breathing only through your nose. I would say swimming is the hardest one to do with. One more time, right leg and left. Good, and then come back down. Walk your feet in so your shins are vertical, roll to one side, and let's reach that baseline again. Good, and again, standing balance or squats or forward fold or check, even just check a new position that you haven't normally checked, much better. Good. And so better isn't necessarily, once you can get all the way down like you now in the ground pretty simply, what just feels better? Does it feel easier to get down to it? Does your neck, I noticed, my neck doesn't bother me quite as much when I do that. I want you to go back to a movement that we just did, whether it's breathing, whether it's head nods, head turns, whatever, you find you struggle with a little bit. Maybe it's breathing and head turns. Maybe it's breathing and rolling from your lower part of your body. But go connect. Maybe it's just breathing and lifting your head up. Go to one of the movements that we just did or of things that we just did. See if, and we're going to do this for about a minute, see if you can continue to find that connection between your eye movements, your head movements, and your body, and just allow that all three of those pillars, all three of those movements connect together. So I'm just going to sit up nice and tall, and I'm going to roll my head to my right and then look over my right. You can be laying on the ground. See if you can unstick a movement that you tend to get stuck in. Why you get stuck, I don't necessarily know. It's not necessarily important exactly. It could be from an injury that you've had. It could be from kind of a fear of movement, position, for whatever reasons. It just could be that you just never really do that movement. Are you breathing? Are your eyes moving? Is your head moving? Realize the more you can move more of your body, the more the body moves better. When athletes get super hyper focused into their movement patterns for their particular activity, for their particular sport, they tend to get very stuck in that position, and it's very difficult to move out of it and then to learn new positions. Good. You've got about 10 more seconds, and ideally the movement's getting easier to do. Good, and then come back up, do your baseline again. Yes, my left foot still wants to go out, but it's much better than it was when I started. Good. Nice, nice. Good. Good, with your eyes closed. You tried it with your eyes. You're like, I'm going to up the game.
Because I could do the 10 seconds with them open. So
yeah.
I've always had struggle.
Yeah. But you actually attempted it. It's like you didn't just.
I think there was a fear factor there that made me stop.
Yeah, whether you. A huge component of stuff. All right, let's come on back down to the ground. We're going to come into all. Child's goes far into the position, whatever that works for you. Get those arms nice and long. So if being all the way back, butt to heels, isn't comfortable for you, then don't do that. You can be in all fours as far back as it's comfortable for you. You could even be in a downward facing dog if you wanted to, if that's more comfortable for you. And let's just go back real quick. Good. And then stay on the forearms and look forward. Drop your chin down. Look forward and drop your chin down. Just bring that head up and down. So if you tend to have a hard time picking your head up from the ground, it might be easier for you because you're just kind of working to a certain degree with gravity. And then we're going to come up forward our forearms and just shift forward and shift back. Then up on your hand, shift forward and shift back. For me, when I was first learning to do this rocking position, it was really tiring on my neck, partly because I noticed when I was teaching classes and stuff, my head would be down towards the ground. I'd be walking around with my head down or picking stuff up, and I really had to work on my upper back extension. So if you're not used to having your head up, this can be very tiring on your neck muscles. Your chest muscles have gotten overly tight, and your back muscles are very weak probably. So learn to move in that position. Remember, we always start where we're at. We're never starting where we should want to be, even though that's kind of where our brain wants to go. Good. So then bring your knees more underneath you. You're going to roll back and you're going to come into a ball. So if you need to go wider in a foot stance, then do so. You may not have space to move back if your feet are right up against each other. And then roll forward. Going to rock into that hip rock forward and then roll back and then roll forward. Let your hips sink a little bit in this to give them a little motion. And get those hands, make the hands do the weight bearing. Don't just put all your weight into your knees. Push into your arms. You know, so often it's like people think that all this mobility stuff is just for people who are either invalids or can't move anyway, and so we just do the simple stuff for some people. But no, there's actually this weird guy on the internet. Like, isn't there a lot of weird guys on the internet? But he quite literally crawls everywhere, and he crawls through all kinds of group things. And I'll tell you, you spend 1 minute crawling with your knees off the ground, and you'll realize how hard moving on your hands is. 2 more. And last one. Good. Stay back in the ball. Again, if your feet are real close, you're not able to move anywhere. So your hips aren't going to be able to open. So if you're real tight up into a little ball, awesome. Let's open up that ball a little bit, and you're just going to rock back and forth. So you're going to drop to your heel and back and forth. See if you can do it without your hands on the ground. See if you can do it. If you need to do it, one hand drops to the ground and then the other. Drop all the way down into the ground. You may need to bring your knees to the ground or bring your hands to the ground. Drop your knee all the way to the ground. See if you can get one down, lift up, then take the other one down and lift up. One down, it comes up. Then take the other one down. We're going to do 2 more here. And then last. Good. And then you're just going to sit back onto 1 foot. So 1 foot back as best you can. And again, this is tough. So if you need up so the ball of your heel or the heel of your foot is off the ground, fine. So you're going to sit back. We're going to rock into that cross again. And then rock back and sit back on your shin. If you need to keep that back foot so the toe is curled under, that's fine. Again, a lot of people have a lot of mobility in the front of their ankle. Different reasons. Maybe you had an injury to your ankle. Maybe you wore high heels a lot. All kinds of different reasons. Maybe just biologically you never really had the motion. So again, you're always starting where you're at. One more time. See if you can tuck that back foot back, your back in that deep squat. Good, and then we'll just go back to the second foot. Sit back on your shin if you can. Foot is on the ground, nice stretch for the shin and the calf, and then we'll walk forward. Walk back. Now, an interesting thing about movement, and it kind of goes in that saying, if you don't use it, lose it. And I don't believe that you'll lose it. I just believe it gets repackaged or kind of gets lost within the system of your movements.
It goes into hibernation.
It goes into hibernation. 2 more. Good, and then last one again. Good, come all the way back. And then curl up, and then again, sit back into that squat position. Good, that squat position might even be easier now. And see if you can come up to stand in this kind of squat position. Stand straight up. Nice, it's good strength. Good, and reset your baseline, or recheck your baseline. Good. Nice. Good. That was about a couple more seconds longer.
2 seconds last time.
Yeah.
4 seconds this time.
Now remembering again, your brain can move around, so play with the baselines that you do. Maybe it's not always throughout any kind of one practice that you do the same baseline, because you're looking for differences all over the place. You're never just only focusing on one movement skill. You're looking on all different types of movement skills. All right, let's come back to the ground again. Good. And so we're going to start upright. Arms are out nice and wide, and drop the knees just right and left. Now this is a real easy movement to scoot around on. So try to keep yourself kind of in one spot. You don't know what that is, but I don't have it on my mat anymore. Good. Go ahead and leave your knees in one direction. So you can have your knees to your left. Your right foot would be behind you. Your left is pointing out with your left foot tucked in. And then you're going to drop down to your left elbow. Then you're going to try to drop down to your right elbow. Your right knee might pop up. It's okay. Then you try to pick up on your right hand. Bring your left hand to your knee. And then you're going to go back around. So drop to your left shoulder, roll, and come back to your right. Pick up with your right hand and take your left hand to your right. And we'll do that again. So you can walk over, and we're just kind of rolling around those hips. And then back up, and then drop. And then come up. One more time. Drop in that direction. We'll see what happens when we go to the other side. And then come back up. Good. Bring those feet together. And drop those knees right to left. Or left to right. Last ones. Good. Go this one side. So again, just sit up there for a second. Kind of get that zigzag going. Walk yourself to your right elbow. Drop over so you're on both elbows. Pick yourself up. Use the new side, the left side, to pick you up. And then walk over again. Drop down. Drop back. And roll over. Wow. At back hard. And then come up and then down. Again, a modification of this would just be you would just kind of pick those knees up with you. Drop down, come up, drop down, come up, come up. So there's always a way to do something. There's never no, I can't do it. There's always this like, I'll do less. One more time. Drop down as low as you can. Drop back, come up, and come up. Let's lay all the way back on the back. Head back, and let's drop those knees again, right to left or left to right. Two more to each side. Good, and then bring your knees up into your chest, not holding your knees if you can, and just rock your knees side to side. Now I'm trying to keep my palms up. Now drop your knees to your right, extend your top leg out, bend your top knee back, and come back into center. Over to your left, reach out with that right leg, back to center. Over to your right, reach out and center. To your left, reach out, knees in and back to center. All the way. Two more times. Over and reach, over and reach. Now bring your knees, open your arms a little bit wider so your arms are not above your shoulders, but pretty much in line, if just a little bit below. Drop both knees to your right, let them touch the ground. Lift your left knee all the way up or as best you can. Then let your right knee come up and then over to your left all the way down. Let your right knee come up all the way first, then your left knee follows. It's right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right. Two more times. And once more. Now keep those knees together and see if you can get all the way to the ground and all the way back up, all the way to the ground, all the way back up. Breathing. Are you still letting that breath move? And it's hard because I'm staying talking the entire time, which once again it would make for poor video if I didn't talk. Last one, bring those up and over and to your left and then back to center. Good. So we're going to take both legs to our right and I want you to look to your left. Just one more on. Bring center, look to your right and drop both knees to your left. Bring your head center, look to your left, drop both knees to your right. Now that doesn't mean your knees have to go down all the way this time. Maybe that's kind of a shut-off valve for you and you need to do less at this point. One more time. And last time to this side. Head turns in one direction, legs go in the other direction. Good. Bring your knees to center. Hands touch the tops of your knees so your arms are straight. And then release your right arm and left leg. So it's a nice little dead bug. So dead bug has a ton of variations to it. We're going to do a couple. And a dead bug is a great movement for the core. It engages the deep flexors of the spine, where the bird dog kind of works the extensors of the spine, the glutes. This really focuses a lot on the front line of the body. Two more just like this. And last one. Now always know that you can come back to this move here. Head is up now, so always know that you can come back to that particular base of dead bug. Head up, right arm over your head, and left leg out. Now if you can't keep your head up or that's not available for you, put your head back on the ground, that's fine. 2 more, just like this. Put your head back down. Bring your legs up as best you can. And then take your right arm over your head and left leg down. So keep that leg straight. Now the key here is not to bounce your leg up and down, but lower down slow, lift slow. So it doesn't bounce and pop back up. Because you're trying to come up at the same time that your leg came up and your arm comes together. One more time, each side like this. If you can, on this next one, pick your head up. Two more, right leg and left. And last one. Good. Rock yourself up. Keep your body nice and tall. Good. And then you're just going to you're going to lay back and then come up. And then lower down and come up. And lower down and come up. And lower down and come up. You can keep the knee on the ground and just do right hand to left knee. Or see if you can kind of lift yourself up, lower down, lift yourself up, lower down. One more time, each side. And then lower down. Whew. A lot of core there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, who says this is for the old and incapable? All right, let's drop yourselves to one side, bring yourself up. Good, and let's recheck your baseline. Make sure you're breathing, really on that balance. Just let yourself breathe. Keep your eyes open. Well, keep your eyes closed if you want to check that, I guess. Good, do eyes open and just bring your foot up higher. Higher. Look up, down, look to your left, look to your right. Good, put your foot down. Same leg, you're going to do balance with your eyes closed.
Maybe a second more.
All right, go ahead and stand up. We're going to finish our movement just standing up. Because isn't that where we all end up wanting to be? We don't end up wanting to be on the floor. So just place your hands on your belly and exhale. Breathe into that rib wall. Notice if you're breathing to your chest. Are you lifting and dropping? Are you shrugging? Drop your chin, lift your chin. Drop your chin, lift your chin. Look over your right shoulder, look over left shoulder. Add a rotation to it. Breathing. And then start with a cross crawl. So a cross crawl is like a walking place. Look up. Look down. Look left. Look right. See if you can look all the way around. Go the other direction, all the way around. Good. And then let's check her baseline again. Good.
Awesome, nice flat hand. Compared to going like.
Yeah, kind of reaching and reaching. Yeah. Yeah, and actually, so flat-handed. So you do your baseline again. But see if you can bring your hands, your feet, not out in front, but here. Good. Both of you, nice. Do it. Not like do it, Bev. Good. Doesn't that feel great that you can touch your toes? I mean, that's like for most people, that's like their lifelong goal is just to be able to touch. And that way your hands can get to the ground and it doesn't feel like your spine's your body or your hamstrings are just going to grab as tight as they possibly can. That's it. So we're going to do one interesting kind of thing. So if you're just now watching, you may just want to watch this, but it's going to be kind of really testing your vestibular. So you're going to place your hands together and you're going to start with a figure 8 and then just look forward and look wherever you want to. Just let the shoulders roll. And then you're going to let the hips roll. So lift your back heel up. Something I've noticed when people have a lot of hip issues is that they don't tend to roll into their entire leg. It's not always, but it's a tend to. All right, so you've got that movement down, right? So we know where we're going, okay? So now you're going to do it, and you're going to watch your hands. So go as slow as you need. I know. The reason why it upsets is because it's your vestibular that's saying you are doing too many things all at one time. So go slow and stop if you need to. And you're already holding your stomach. I've got a bucket over there waiting for you.
All that bucket.
Yeah. All right. So hands out in front. We're not going to close our eyes, okay? Hands out in front. Watch your hands. So watch them go down. Notice how slow I'm going. Watch them go down. Then if you want to add the hip movements, you can add the hip movements. Are you breathing? If you stop breathing, it's going to lock things down a little bit faster. See if you can get a little bit bigger. Watch the hands. Look up. Watch the hands go down. If you need to stop, please stop. Roll down. Watch that hand come up, go down. Watch that hand come up, go down. One more time, just one more time, and go down. Good. Recheck your baseline. Stop for a second if you got all dizzy, wonky. You can do a cross crawl to reset back to the center. Check your baseline. Nice. Good. Good. Let's just finish with the right hand to left knee. These are going to, again, crawls. They recenter the body, working the midline of the body. Good. And then we'll just take a standard finish of a class. And then exhale down. Again, inhale. Big and deep through your nose. And exhale. And we... Done and done, guys. Done and done, guys. Thanks for coming. Rewatch this. Ask questions if you have questions. I love to help you with mobility. And this is Susie from Bent on Fitness, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.